one day they saw this snake and going across the yard, and after a while they heard all the chickens were squawking and carrying on, and they ran around, and that snake, they ran back to the chicken coop, and that snake had crawled up in the nest, and they could hear all the chickens screaming and cackling and carrying on, and that snake had crawled up in that nest and had swallowed 2 eggs. 2 eggs. Now, they were so poor that they realized immediately that that was a whole lot of dumplings and a whole lot of chicken that was inside that snake, and that snake was crawling across the yard with those 2 big bubbles in its body with the eggs, and they started chasing that snake, and they were telling the story, Mickey, and laughing about chasing that snake, and they were trying to get the snake, and they got a hoe and they got an axe, and they were chasing the snake and chasing the snake, and the snake went down in a hole in the ground, his hole, I suppose, and there were the eggs gone, and they were thinking, we need those eggs. That snake does not need those eggs. And little mama chicken had been sitting on those eggs, and they were going to hatch, and they were all excited about it. And so they got shovels, and they started digging, and they dug, and they dug, and they were just hollering and screaming, they said. And now they're telling us the story, and they're laughing, and they're carrying on, and said, Lena, do you remember? Vernie, do you remember? We dug and dug and dug, and I'm just enjoying this. This is like a drama just being relived. It's wonderful. And they both were humorous, and they were thinking about how terrible it was. And they did get that snake, and they chopped that snake's head off, slit it open, and got those 2 eggs, washed them off, and put them back in the old chicken's nest. There you go. That's my mama. Ain't nobody gonna get those chickens. And I'm not sure, but I think that's the way we ought to feel about what we're facing in this age. You can't just let the snake come slithering into your little chicken house and take your children. I know what's happening. And all the tools and the devices, the spirit of Hollywood, evil, unbelief,